Hello, I'm Chris from Hope Church in Guildford, and in 1 Kings 17 we read a little story about a widow who was asked by Elijah to make him some bread from the last bit of oil and flour that she's kind of got left. And at this point, the widow could have made all sorts of excuses not to. She could say, well, it's better to wait for more money, when she has some to spare, or till her children are old enough to work, or ask God to give her more flour and oil first, and then she'll do it. But like pretty much all faith stories in the Bible, she had to take the first step. She gives all that she has by taking that step of faith, and God keeps providing the oil and the flour, which never runs out. Now, Abraham took the first step of leaving his home before God showed him the promised land. Moses took the first step to reach out his staff before the sea parted. Joshua and the Levites took the first step to step into the River Jordan before it stopped flowing. And as they enter into the promised land, they are given the land only where they dare to tread their feet first. It seems that rarely God works by first parting the seas or sending the oil or giving the land, but almost always after that first step of faith. And so in our church, we want to see restored in us a sense of first steps faith, a boldness and a courage to take the first step, with our eyes not on the lack of oil or the river that's flowing on our way, that obstacle that might be ahead of us, but instead with our eyes on what God has called us to and what amazing harvest might come in the future. Now, obviously this applies to every area of church life, like crossing the office floor to talk to that person before they've spoken to us, or giving what God has called us to before the pay rise or the bonus is secure. It might mean running leadership courses and preaching courses before we know if we've even got anyone to go on them. It might mean, sending our best before we have a replacement lined up for them. Importantly, when it comes to building a multicultural, diverse, attractive church that represents God's grace and his vision of all nations, we need to think hard about what do first steps look like for us. For us, first steps have included listening to the voices already in the church from different backgrounds and learning their experience and understanding what life looks like for them. It also means broadening our understanding of what leadership looks like in different cultures and classes. It means equipping and giving opportunities to preach, lead and learn. And, it means learning about our own cultural biases and seeing people through God's lenses instead of always our own. It certainly means not giving up after one failed attempt. But having strength to kind of go again and again. Sometimes it means asking and not just assuming that a sign-up form is enough and all that it takes. Most importantly, it means being proactive in prayer. It would be easy for me to come up with lots of reasons why our church in Guildford is not as diverse, not just in culture, but in class as I'd like it to be. But in this season, I believe God is restoring in us the mindset of asking, what first step can we take? Let's not look at what we lack, but with boldness and courage, give of ourselves and look ahead in faith at all that God might do.